Hokkaido Nipponham Fighters. The Hokkaido Nipponham Fighters Bei Hidaurai Benhamu Huetazu. Hokkaido Nippon Hamu Feitazu are a Japanese professional baseball team based in Sapporo, Hokkaido. They compete in the Pacific League of Nippon Professional Baseball, playing the majority of their home games at the Sapporo Dome. The Fighters also host a select number of regional home games in cities across Hokkaido, including Hakodate, Asatakawa, Kushiro, and Abehiro. The team's name comes from its parent organization, Nippon Ham, a major Japanese food processing company. Founded in 1946, the Fighters called Tokyo home for 58 years as co-tenants of the Tokyo Dome with the Central League's Yomiuri Giants near the end of their tenure in the capital city. The franchise has won 3 Japan Series titles in 1962, 2006, and most recently, 2016. Team history. Senators and Tokyo eras. In 1946, Saburo Yakuzawa, manager of the Tokyo Senators in 1936-1937, and later a prominent umpire, looked to revive the franchise and soon founded the new Senators. He assembled a team of ready and able players like Hiroshi Ashita, Shigeya Iijima, and Gyukuro Shiraki, but as a newly formed team the Senators faced strict fiscal management and resorted to using hand-me-down uniforms from the Hankyu Railways pre-war team who would eventually become the modern-day Oryx Buffaloes. Former Japanese statesman Kinkazu Saionji, grandson of the influential Kinmachi Saionji, became the team's owner, and Noboru Oride, borrowing heavily from a Ginza Cabaret proprietor, became the team's sponsor. Eventually, trapped by a lack of funds, Yakuzawa was forced to resign as the team's manager. For a time, the team was even mockingly nicknamed Sato Bluestockings after a Japanese feminist magazine of the same name. As the Yomiuri Giants' pet name was Kyojin, baseball personality Soutaro Suzuki thought that other teams should also have pet names like the Giants, and names such as the Osaka Tigers alias Mauko Fierce Tiger, the Senators Sato, and the Pacific's Teihei Tranquility began to be used by the press. However, the other teams rejected the use of these pet names, so they were not fully adopted. On January 7, 1947, the team was sold to the Takyu Corporation. The Takyu Baseball Club was inaugurated into the league, and the team's name became the Takyu Flyers. At that time, Takyu dominated the Japanese transportation sector, owning several other railway companies, although it was faced with troubles and the possibility of a breakup. Takyu purchased the team to act as a banner of solidarity for the swelling company, and managing director Hiroshi Akawa assumed ownership of the club. The newly born Flyers, with Hiroshi Ashita becoming one of the most popular players in the league, began to attract many fans, but the team's administration still went into a deficit. With the formation of the National Baseball League drawing nearer in 1948, the not yet affiliated Dei Club, which had played a few exhibition games against the Otsuka Athletics, joined with Takyu to create the QA Flyers, QA being a portmanteau of the two companies' names. However, Dei decided to purchase a separate team, the Kinsei Stars, and after only 1 year the Flyers reverted to their former name. During the off-season of 1949, the Flyers joined the Pacific League after the former league split. In September 1953, the team completed a new ballpark, Kamizawa Stadium, along one of Takyu's train lines in Setagaya. The Flyers' wild play on the field eventually earned them the nickname Kamizawa's Hooligans. Toei and Nitaku eras. On February 1, 1954, Takyu entrusted the management of the Flyers to the Toei Company, of which Akawa had newly become president. Toei transferred control of the club to a subsidiary company, Toei Kagyo Industrial Enterprise. The team's name was changed to the Toei Flyers, and its legal name consequently became the Toei Flyers Baseball Club. This name stuck for 19 years. In 1961, when Yomiuri Giants manager Shigeru Mizuhara resigned from his position, Akawa attempted to woo him to join his team, bringing him to a bar in Kyoto and calling famous movie producer Koji Shundo to meet with them. Shundo, an old drinking buddy of Mizuhara's, convinced the four-time Japan Series champion manager to join the Flyers, and he solidified a strong relationship with Akawa and Toei Studios. Kamizawa Stadium was to be torn down to make way for the 1964 Tokyo Summer Olympics, so in 1962 the Flyers moved their base of operations to Meiji Jingu Stadium in Shinjuku. At that time, college baseball teams had priority at Meiji Jingu, so during weekends or other times, when school games were being played, the Flyers had to use Korakuen or another field for their games. In the same year, two-star aces, Masayuki Dobashi and Yukio Ozaki, blossomed under Mizuhara's coaching, and the Flyers captured their first league championship. They would go on to defy odds in the Japan Series and defeat the Hanshin Tigers for their first Japan Series title. This championship would be their only one in the Toei era. The Kakutetsu Swallows jointly occupied Meiji Jingu with the Flyers the following season, and in 1964 the Flyers went back to their old home, Korakuen, also home of the Yomiuri Giants. Both the Fighters and Giants would share a home for the next 39 years. The Flyers assembled a group of powerful sluggers over the next few years, among them Isao Haramoto, Katsuo Asugi, Inchan Beck, and Shoichi Busujima, but on top of a declining movie industry and the black mismatch fixing scandal that rocked the professional baseball world in 1970, after which Flyers ace Toshiki Moriyasu was banned from. Shigeru Okada, who did not view Akawa favorably, took over Toei after his death. Together with Noboru Goto, company president of Tokyu, and loyal friend of Okada, and one who also thought unfavorably of Akawa, Okada let go of the unprofitable team. The team was sold to Akitaka Nishimura of the Nitaku Home Real Estate Enterprise, a common acquaintance of Okada and Goto, on February 7, 1973. The team's name became the Nitaku Home Flyers. Nishimura, in an attempt to inject life back into the unpopular Pacific League, developed 7 different uniforms for his team and experimented in every aspect of the team's operation, but the effort failed to produce results. Believing that the Pacific League's chances of survival were grim, Nishimura was on the verge of partnering with the Lot Orions, who were eyeing a league reunification. When the deal fell through, Nishimura, tired of the baseball establishment, resigned from his leadership position and abandoned the Flyers. Nippon Ham era. On November 19, 1973, meat packing company Nippon Ham purchased the team. The club's name changed to the Nippon Ham Fighters. Its official name became the Nippon Ham Baseball Corporation. Osamu Mihara became the team president and Futoshi Nakanishi its manager. After 27 years, the Flyers' nickname was abandoned. The Fighters' nickname was born from a public appeal by the team's management. A female high school student from Akiyama Prefecture submitted the winning name, giving the reasoning that former Fighters player Katsuo Asugi has guts, so he's a fighter. Ironically, Asugi would be traded to the Yakult Swallows soon after the Fighters were rechristened. Over the 4 seasons between 1974 and 1977, the Fighters dwelled at the bottom of the Pacific League, but after improving to finishing in 3rd place for 3 straight years between 1978 and 1980, manager Keiji Asawa finally led the Fighters to their 2nd Pacific League pennant in 1981. With saves leader Yutaka Enatsu and starter Shichikuni Mashiba, who went 15-0 over the season, forming the heart of the pitching staff, the Fighters shined with offensive sluggers Tony Saleta, Junichi Kashiwabara, and Tommy Cruz. The team that year also featured various important players of smaller stature, like Makoto Shimada and Nobuhiro Takashiro. They would go on to play the Yomiuri Giants in the Japan Series, where the Fighters lost in 6 games. At the time, the franchise shared Korakuen Stadium with the Giants, so scheduling games throughout the season for both teams posed a problem. League schedulers tried to avoid putting the Fighters and the Giants at Korakuen on the same day, but when they both had home games scheduled, league officials made the implicit decision that the Giants would play during the day and the Fighters during the night. One novel aspect of the Fighters was that they attracted armies of grade school boys to sit in the outfield stands on weekend games under a Young Boys fan club promotion, starting the first organized fan club in Japanese professional baseball. During the 1980s, the Fighters hosted many of the Pacific League's leading pitchers, including Isamu Kida led the PL with 22 wins in his rookie year in 1980, won MVP, Rookie of the Year the same year, Mikio Kudo 20 wins in 1982. Hiroshi Tsuno recorded double-digit win totals in several years throughout the mid-80s. Yukihiro Nishizaki particularly stood out, recording 15 wins and an ERA under 3 in each of his first 2 years, though the Rookie of the Year title eluded him, racking up 7 double-digit win seasons over the course of his 11-year stay with the Fighters and gaining a considerable following from female fans due to his easygoing demeanor. In 1986, shortstop Yukio Tanaka joined the club. He remained with the team for 22 seasons, becoming known as Mr. Fighters. From 1988 until the move to Hokkaido, the Fighters played their home games in Tokyo Dome. After the dome was finished, the pitching dominance of Yukihiro Nishizaki and Yasumitsu Shibata began to emerge. Keiji Asawa came out of retirement to manage the team for a third time in 1993, only to see his team sink to the bottom of the standings. He gained notoriety for kneeling to the fans at the end of that season, begging for their forgiveness. With the Fighters experiencing more managerial troubles in 1996, then-manager Toshiharu Yuta suddenly took a personal leave during a pennant race with the Oryx Blue Wave, eventually causing the Fighters to fade over the last month of the season. However, new life was born in Tokyo Dome in 1998. Hitters such as Nigel Wilson, Jerry Brooks, Yukio Tanaka, Atsushi Kataka, Katsuhiro Nishiura, and a young Michihiro Ogasawara formed what became known as the Big Bang lineup, and subsequently shattered various batting records. They ran away with first place for the first half of the season, but a pitching collapse in the second half caused a fall of historical proportions. The Fighters would ultimately finish in second place to the Seibu Lions. Hokkaido Nippon Ham era. Prior to the 2002 season, the idea of moving the Fighters to Sapporo, the capital of Hokkaido and Japan's fifth largest city, emerged. The Seibu Lions also had preliminary plans to move to the northern metropolis. Tokyo's Fighters fans voiced their opposition to the proposed relocation, though the franchise never drew as many fans as their cohabitual counterparts, the Giants, while playing in the capital, but it was eventually announced that the team would indeed call the Sapporo Dome its new home beginning in 2004. Aiming to build a grassroots relationship with its future fans, the team decided to change its name to the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. At first, with the unhappy Seibu Lions suddenly changing their approval vote, Giants owner Tsuneo Watanabe and Seibu owner Yoshihide Tsutsumi voiced their concerns over the move. They believed that Nippon Ham's choice to move the team would spur a decentralization in Japanese professional baseball, and they threatened that a decrease in the number of teams in the Kanto and Kansai regions should merit a one-league system instead of two. As a matter of fact, the question of reorganizing baseball's league structure eventually became a bigger issue than the sale and renaming of the Kintetsu Buffaloes. The issue eventually settled down, though, and the Fighters' relocation was eventually approved by the league. The response from the people of Hokkaido was weak, but NPB fans welcomed the move, noting that the Fighters could now be free from the Tokyo Dome's high rent and perpetual second billing to the Giants. Out of respect for the Tokyo-based Fighters fans, the team decided to schedule a few home games per season at the Tokyo Dome. After the move finally was complete in 2004, the Fighters signed former Tigers superstar Tsuyoshi Shinjo, who came back to NPB from MLB after playing with the New York Mets and nearly winning a World Series title with the San Francisco Giants, and a revitalized Fernando Seguinal. American manager Trey Hillman led the team to success in his second year on the job, and at the end of the season, the Fighters were in a fierce race with the Chiba Lotte Marines for the final spot in the new PL play system. With a vital win over the Oryx Blue Wave on September 24, though they put up a strong effort against Seibu ace Daisuke Matsuzaka, the Fighters lost the first game of the series 6-5. They took Game 2 by a score of 5-4. In the decisive third game, the Fighters fought back in the ninth inning after trailing for the whole game, but ultimately fell to a Kazuhiro Wada walk-off home run, losing 6-5. The Fighters would have to wait for another chance for the PL pennant. During the pennant race, the Fighters began selling tickets for infield reserved, and after 7:30 p.m., usually well after the first pitch, the team began selling special child fare tickets called 730 tickets. They started the same promotion at the Tokyo Dome in 2005. In addition to these, in 2005 they added extra low-priced tickets, discount parking passes, and beer coupons to attract more fans. As a result of these promotions, and partially due to the rising popularity of young pitcher Yu Darvish, drafted the year before, the left field stands became constantly sold out for exhibition games, regular season games, and playoff games filled with loud and raucous Onden. Even the right field stands, usually occupied by the visiting team's fans, began to fill with Fighters supporters. In 2005, the Fighters drew over 1 million fans for the first time since 1993, ranking second in the PL, after the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Also in 2005, a previously unknown manager, Shigeru Takuda, became the club's first general manager. On April 27, owner Yoshinori Okoso died. The Fighters retired the number 100 in his honor, a first in club history, also the first retired number for owners in NPB. In North American Major League Baseball, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim Gene Autry, 26, and St. Louis Cardinals August A. Bush Jr., 85 have retired numbers, and in minor league baseball, the Yukio Tanaka reached a career 1,000 RBI total, and Makoto Kaneko joined the 1,000 hit club in the same year. On September 20, the Lions smashed the Fighters at home, crushing the Fighters' hopes of making the playoffs for the second year in a row. In the off-season, the Fighters acquired Major League veteran Jose Macias, and as former number 1 starter Yusaku Iriki tried his luck in America, the club attempted. In the draft, the team selected pitchers Tomoya Yagi and Masaru Takeda. And, before the 2006 season, Shiyuki Furuki and Kazunari Seimitsu were traded to the Giants for pitcher Heike Akijima. The 2006 season would turn out to be a monumental one for the Fighters. After defeating the Tokyo Yakult Swallows on the final day of interleague play, the Fighters went on an 11-game winning streak, the best such streak for the franchise in over 45 years, and tying the team record. After achieving the feat, the team had a 6- and 7-game winning streak, demonstrating to the rest of the PL that they were a dangerous club. A fierce struggle for first place developed between the Fighters, Lions, and Hawks. On September 27, the Fighters emerged in first place, earning the title regular season champions. They also boasted the best team ERA 3.5 and the best team home run total 135 in the NPB. Yu Darvish had an especially impressive year, winning 12 games and posting an ERA of 2.89, establishing himself as the ace of the Fighters staff. The Fighters swept the Hawks in the second stage of the PL playoffs to earn their third pennant. In the Japan series, the team won their first Japanese championship in 44 years, defeating the Chunichi Dragons in 5 games. Fittingly, Darvish pitched for the win in the final game of the series. The series MVP honors went to Fighters outfielder Atsunori Inaba, who hit for a .357 batting average during the series, with 1 home run and 6 RBI. The championship win was especially fitting for Tsuyoshi Shinjo, who was a longtime veteran of the Hanshin Tigers, who were perennial losers and also had played for a brief time in the United States Major League Baseball. It was Shinjo's ultimate desire to win a championship, And he did in the final year of his illustrious career in Japan with Nippon Ham. This victory gave the Fighters a berth in the four-team Asia Series, in which the team went undefeated in the round robin and won the final 1-0 over the Lanyu Bears. The 2006 off-season saw the departure of two of Nippon Ham's best players, both via free agency. First baseman Michihiro Ogasawara was signed to a blockbuster contract with the Yomiuri Giants, and left-handed reliever Heike Akijima departed to the Boston Red Sox. At the start of the 2007 season, Nippon Ham had a lot of trouble scoring runs, relying far too much on their pitching, despite the continuing maturation of Yu Darvish, who had back-to-back complete game, 14 strikeout performances early in the season. At one point, Nippon Ham was second to last in the Pacific League, but recently has been able to turn it around. With the start of interleague play, Nippon Ham began a 14-game winning streak, which ended on June 9 with a 3-2 extra inning loss to the Yakult Swallows, with the bullpen wasting another great performance by Darvish. The Fighters went on to win the Pacific League Championship and went through the Climax Series to earn a second consecutive trip to the Japan Series to once again face the Chunichi Dragons. But in a reversal of roles from last year, the Fighters took Game 1, but the Dragons took the next 4 games to defeat the Fighters, the last of which being a combined perfect game by Dragons pitchers Daisuke Amai and Hitoki Iwase. In 2007, Yukio Tanaka's final season, he recorded his 2000th career hit during a May 15 game against the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. In 2012, the Fighters drafted Shohei Ohtani, who made his debut in 2013. Ohtani, with his ability to both pitch and hit, quickly became a star for the team. He was selected as an NPB All-Star 5 times and was named Pacific League MVP in 2016. Behind Ohtani, the Fighters returned to the Japan Series in 2016. After dropping the first 2 games on the road, the Fighters rallied to win the next 4 games en route to their first championship since 2006. In 2017, the Fighters drafted Kotaro Kiyomiya, a child prodigy entering the draft with high expectations and a number 1 overall pick. The Fighters got his contract negotiation rights after winning a lottery in the draft between 6 other NPB teams. As Japan would soon find out, however, he became a draft bust. What made it even worse was Munetaka Murakami, also on Kiyomiya's draft class, who was drafted by the Swallows after losing out to him, was hitting more home runs than him at a rapid pace and already won a Japan Series title with the Swallows. As of 2022, Kiyomiya only had 21 home runs, while Murakami already had 104 and became the youngest NPB player to hit 100 home runs at only 22 years old. Kiyomiya also did not play on the first squad in 2021. Kiyomiya was also being plagued by injuries whilst Murakami managed to stay healthy and has played the full 143-game schedule with the Swallows. In 2017, Ohtani left the Fighters to sign with the Los Angeles Angels. On January 8, 2018, the Fighters signed a partnership agreement with the Texas Rangers that they will exchange scouting info with each other, and the Rangers will be sharing advice to the Fighters for their plans to help the Fighters build a Yescon Field Hokkaido Ao. Both ballparks would have mixed-use community districts and similar structure, hence why both ballparks look very similar. In October 2021, the Fighters replaced longtime manager Heike Kuriyama, who went to become manager of Samurai Japan, with former player Tsuyoshi Shinjo. He is best known for winning his first Japan Series title in his last game before retirement. On January 21, 2022, new manager Tsuyoshi Shinjo unveiled a new logo and uniform for the Fighters. The response from fans was mixed to mostly negative. Fans often compared their jerseys to the Toronto Blue Jays due to the font they used. The upcoming 2022 season would be the Fighters' last season in Sapporo, as their new stadium in Kita-Hiroshima would be ready by opening day 2023. Their supposed first scheduled game at the new stadium would be an opening day game against the Eagles. ESCON Field Hokkaido. On April 13, 2020, ground broke on ESCON Field Hokkaido, the team's new ballpark expected to open in 2023. The idea of a new ballpark for the Fighters began in early 2016 when Nippon Ham wanted a new ballpark because their current stadium, the Sapporo Dome, was owned by the city of Sapporo themselves and charged the team about 16 yen million a game to play there, which is 1 yen 3 sen billion a year. That, combined with in-stadium loss of revenue and the inflexibility of a multi-purpose stadium, would contribute to Nippon Ham's decision to build a new stadium made for the Fighters. Sapporo would try and make bids from keeping the team leaving the capital city, but in the end, most of their proposed land was unusable due to certain and various circumstances. Also, the third and final proposal from Sapporo, which was redeveloping Makamanai Park, was majorly opposed by local residents. Plus, Kitahirishima's bid included 36 hectares of land, perfect to build the stadium and the planned entertainment district now known as Hokkaido Ballpark F Village. In January 2020, ESCON Japan acquired the stadium's naming rights. Players. Retired numbers. 100 Yoshinori Okoso, former chairman. Honored numbers. 86 Keiji Oso, a former manager. MLB players. Active. Yu Darvish from 2012. Shohei Ohtani from 2018. Kohei Arihara from 2021 retired. Tony Salata 1968, 1974, 1979. Tim McIntosh 1995. Masao Kida 1999-2005. Tsuyoshi Shinjo 2001-2003. Takahito Nomura 2002. Kazuhito Tadano 2004-2005. Heiki Akajima 2007-2011. Yoshinori Tateyama 2011-2012. Kensuke Tanaka 2013-2014. Managers. Statistics current through the end of the 2020 season. Mascots. Their mascot, official name unknown, only appeared on uniforms from 1949-1950. Boy wearing a hat, official name unknown, only appeared on printed materials from 1972-1973. Hercules shooting a bow, official name unknown, appeared in the logo until 1981. Boy wearing a uniform, official name unknown, appeared in the logo from 1982-1987. Goroten Gyoroten retired, a large red fuzzy creature with long feathered hair that served as mascot from 1980 to 1987. He is based on the sun. He often rode on a bicycle, but in later years he rode on a scooter. He was the first costumed mascot in the Pacific League. In 2014, he returned in the Legends series along with Fighty, and they have appeared at every Legends series since. Fight-kun Huetakan retired, a winged warrior with a bat and a helmet who first appeared in 1988 as a replacement for Goroten. Appeared as a logo and as a costume. Armored Warrior, official name unknown, appeared in the logo from 1993-2003. Fighty Huete retired, a bright pink pterodactyl whose head resembled a giant leg of ham and who sometimes rode a bicycle around the field. He appeared from 1993-2000. On August 17, 2005, Fighty was retired, despite the unsuccessful Save Fighty campaign, when the Fighters moved to Hokkaido. In 2014, he returned in the Legends series along with Goroten, and they have appeared at every Legends series since. The *B Brisky, the bear Bearasuka Zabia, a black bear with a black mohawk on his head. Although his full name is Brisky, he prefers to be called B*. On Sundays, the mohawk is orange, and sometimes the mohawk is white. In 212 story locations, his mohawk is pink. He first appeared in 2004 as the successor to Fighty. When B*. was first introduced, his appearance was criticized by some of the Fighters' supporters for being too Americanized. On the Fighters' official website, The asterisk B has his own photo gallery and column. The costume was updated in 2005 because the original costume was becoming damaged and it was difficult to perform in. On April 5, 2006, B** injured his left foot during a match at the Tokyo Dome and was diagnosed with a serious injury of 3 months. He appeared with a crutch the next day and returned on July 4, 2006. B** was also the mascot of Nippon Ham from 2004-2017. He has his own section on the website called B** Diary. In 2019, he launched a blog which was called B** The Home. BBBBBY retired, a young version of B** who is an elementary school student. He first appeared in 2010. He resembles his father. In his first appearance, he appeared on the monitor and watered the crowd with a hose. Since then, he has calmed down by receiving direct guidance from B**. He does not exist as a mascot costume. Cubby Cubby the bear Cabezabia, a brown bear and younger brother of B**. Although it shows the text C** on the back of his uniform, it is pronounced Cubby and not CB. He loves to eat strange foods, but because of this he has a weak stomach and becomes embarrassed when this is brought up. He appeared in 2006 as the mascot of the Fighters minor league team based in Kamigawa, Chiba. He also has a Twitter account. Cubby and B** performed for each team, but also sometimes perform together when the Fighters' professional team plays in Tokyo. He sometimes goes to kindergartens and nursery schools, and in 2010 he was appointed as a one-day chief of the Kamigawa police station and participated in the crime prevention campaign. Polypoloris poripirarisu, a brown squirrel who appeared late 2012, at the same time when the Fighters announced their 10th season. She's the first female mascot that was introduced to the team. Frep the fox Hiritsupuzahuatsukusu, an Ezo red fox who debuted in March 2016. He is gray with red markings and he is considered an apprentice. In 2018, he graduated from apprentice status and he replaced B** as the main mascot, although B** still performs at almost all games. He also has an Instagram account, and B** and Polly also post on there. On May 6, 2019, Frep injured his left leg during a performance at the Zozo Marine Stadium. He planned to return on June 1, 2019. However, he did not return until June 28, 2019, when he appeared with a cast. On June 13, 2018, in a game against the Hanshin Tigers, he was involved in a wrestling match against Jushin Liger after a ceremonial first pitch and lost the match.